A very good evening and welcome to the news at 6, where we get you all the day's top developing stories. I'm Tracy Shilshi. Let's start this half an hour with the headlines. BJP National Executive meets in Bhubaneswar. Prime Minister Narendra Modi leads the host of delegates to chalk out strategy to strengthen the party's base ahead of the 2019 Lok Sabha elections. India calls off maritime security dialogue with Pakistan. Delegation led by Pakistan's maritime security agencies denied clearance amid tensions over the death sentence to Kulbhushan Jadhav. Sixteen coaches injured after 8 coaches of the Meerut-Lucknow Rajya Rani Express derails near Rampur in Uttar Pradesh. Railways Minister Suresh Prabhu orders an inquiry into the accident. And National Conference President Farooq Abdullah wins the Srinagar by-election, defeats ruling PDP's Nazir Ahmed Khan by over 10,700 votes. SDF wins the Upper Bartuk seat in Sikkim. But first, a top national story today. The BJP's 2-day national executive meeting began in Bhubaneswar today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Party President Amit Shah and veterans L.K. Advani, Murli Manohar Joshi are among the top 300 leaders attending the meeting. This includes 40 union ministers, all chief ministers from the 13 BJP-ruled states and 7 deputy chief ministers. This was the party's first conclave after registering a massive victory in Uttar Pradesh in the recently concluded assembly elections. The party is likely to chalk out a strategy for the upcoming assembly polls in 16 states in the next 2 years, including Odisha and the Lok Sabha elections in 2019. The BJP emerged as the number 2 party in the Odisha local elections, pushing the Congress to the 3rd position. Well, our correspondent Pranav Goswami is tracking all those developments in Bhubaneswar, joining us live from there. Pranav, it was between those UP elections when, the Odisha municipal polls took place, the local body elections, and that's when we saw a huge improvement for the BJP, in these particular polls. And you can see that they're really training their eyes now on Odisha, trying to capitalize on that edge that they found in those local body elections.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. And before I explain you something about this meeting, let me show you the visuals. I'm standing right in front of the Janata Maidan, and this is the venue of the National Executive Meeting of BJP. There has been a grand celebration. This entire venue and this city has been decorated beautifully, and you can see the posters of senior leaders and BJP flags all over the city. And so you can understand that the indications are very clear that BJP is trying to make ground, especially on those states, on non-ruling BJP states. This meeting is very crucial, and in this meeting, BJP leadership will be discussing, they will be highlighting the recent success in Uttar Pradesh assembly election, and there will be a strategy of upcoming elections. In this year, we know that Gujarat and Himachal Pradesh, and in next year, Karnataka and Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, and in 2019, Odisha.
All right, we seem to have a problem with the link there. We'll try and establish that with Pranav in a bit. Of course, he was highlighting about how this is a very crucial meet for the BJP. It's a 2-day national executive that's going to take place there in Bhubaneswar. And as you can see, the numbers talk for themselves. Like we pointed out, there are 300 leaders, of course, which also include all the chief ministers of the BJP-ruled states and, of course, deputy chief ministers as well. One very crucial addition to those big leaders is, of course, Yogi Adityanath, the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. After the thumping victory, really, that the BJP saw in UP, he is going to be hailed as an example of how, the elections are to be fought, how you stand by the party, you stand by the principles of the party, and you will be awarded when your time comes. And that is something that they are going to perhaps going to highlight, especially when it comes to Odisha as well. It's a state where, of course, they've been weak. I believe we have Pranav Goswami joining us on the phone line, in fact, and hopefully, Pranav, you can hear me now. telling our viewers that in Odisha, the BJP has traditionally been a weak party. But of course, as you can see, the response that you're seeing as far as Modi's that motorcade is concerned, that road show, a huge response to him.
You're right, and after the commendable performance in recently held Panchayat election, BJP is very enthusiastic. The entire unit of state BJP is very optimistic that this time in coming elections, BJP will do well, and the BJP is trying to get some sort of benefit from the anti-incumbency factor also. We know that for last 17 years, BJD has been ruling in this state, and BJP was earlier partner of BJP. But now, after the UP win and after the recent success in assembly elections, now BJP is focusing on non-ruling states where BJP is not in power, where BJP is very weak. So in today and tomorrow, BJP in this meeting, there will be discussion on several issues, including politics. There will be two resolutions which will be passed, a political resolution and economic resolution also. And tomorrow around 3 p.m. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be addressing this meeting.
All right, absolutely. What's the kind of response that we're getting from the ruling party there, the BJD? Naveen Patnaik, the Chief Minister, of course, has been in power since 2000, and everyone has been really counting on whether the next elections are going to be his again. This is, of course, a good time for the BJP to show the people of Odisha another option. But is that a worry now that's going to be for the BJD?
As far as BJD is concerned, BJD is also very confident. BJD is saying that in BJP is not done well in the center, and they are saying that they are claiming that in their government they have launched several schemes, especially those schemes which are related to the welfare of poor. But as far as BJP is concerned, BJP is also promoting their policies which are for the welfare of poor, like Jan Dhan Yojana and Ujjwala Yojana. So BJP will definitely be trying to make some sort of presence felt in this state.
All right, we'll leave it there for now. Pranav, thank you so much for joining us with those details. We'll come back to you, of course, through the evening for more updates from Bhubaneswar. Meanwhile, results to the by-polls of Srinagar Lok Sabha seat and Sikkim's Upper Bartuk Assembly seat were declared today. Farooq Abdullah won the Srinagar by-poll, while FDF's Diliram Thapa emerged victorious in Upper Bartuk. Here are all the details of that.
National Conference President Farooq Abdullah won the Srinagar by-poll, defeating ruling PTP's Nazir Ahmed Khan in one of the bloodiest elections in the state. Targeting the PTP government for the violence, Farooq Abdullah said the government failed to provide security to the people. He also demanded president's rule in the state.
इस इलेक्शन में कई लोग गोलियों के शिकार हैं, अस्पताल में पड़े हुए हैं, कई लोग जेलों में डाल दिए गए। ये इलेक्शन मैंने नहीं देखा अपनी जिंदगी में, ऐसा इलेक्शन जहां ऐसी हालत हो। अफसोस इस बात का है आज भी सरकार टस से मस नहीं हो रही है, और मैं गवर्नर से अपील करता हूं और प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया से अपील करता हूं कि इस हुकूमत को बर्खास्त करके प्रेसिडेंट गवर्नर रूल लगाया जाए।
8 people were killed in the violence during the by-poll to Srinagar Lok Sabha seat on 9th of April that recorded a low voter turnout of 7.14%. The repolls that were ordered for 38 booths witnessed the lowest ever percentage in the state's history, with a mere 2% people casting their votes. Meanwhile, in other by-poll results announced on Saturday, the ruling Sikkim Democratic Front candidate Diliram Thapa defeated BJP's Suresh Khanal Sharma to win the Upper Bhutak Assembly seat. Polling at Upper Bhutak Assembly constituency in Sikkim was held on 12th of April. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, amid tensions between India and Pakistan over Kulbhushan Jadhav, India today cancelled maritime talks with Pakistan. The Ministry of Defence has not given a clearance for the Pakistani delegation that was scheduled to visit New Delhi to take part in the talks between the 16th and the 19th of April. Meanwhile, Pakistan's Dawn News Agency reported today that Pakistani police in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir arrested 3 people suspected to be raw agents. 16 people were injured after 8 coaches of the Meerut-Lucknow Rajya Express derailed near Rampur in Uttar Pradesh. The accident took place at 8:15 a.m. between Mundapande and Rampur railway stations. Railway Minister Suresh Prabhu ordered an inquiry into the incident, while UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has announced 50,000 rupees each for the seriously injured and 25,000 each to the injured. Operations on the Delhi-Lucknow route was severely hit as dozens of trains have been indefinitely delayed.
यहाँ पे एक पटरी को वेल्ड किया हुआ था, उस जहाँ पे वो पटरी वेल्डेड थी वहाँ से ब्रेक हुई है और जिसकी वजह से ये हादसा हुआ है। 8 बोगियाँ डिरेल हुई हैं, जिनमें से एक पलट गई है।
इसको हम सीरियसली लेते हैं। इसकी भी पूरी विस्तृत जांच होगी, कारणों का पता लगाया जाएगा और करेक्टिव मेजर्स जो भी हैं वो लिए जाएंगे।
Raising the EVM tampering issue again, Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav said that electronic voting machines cannot be trusted. Raising questions over the BJP's win in Uttar Pradesh Assembly elections, Akhilesh said that the Election Commission should answer on cases of EVM tampering, as they themselves admitted that the machines can be tampered with. He demanded that future elections should be conducted through ballot paper. The former UP Chief Minister also accused the BJP of misleading people in the name of caste and religion for garnering votes. The BJP, though, rubbished the charges. And on Friday, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal demanded that the municipal polls be postponed by a month or two till arrangements are made to use VVPAT-equipped machines along with EVMs. His proposal was rejected by the State Election Commissioner, though.
EVM कब खराब हो जाए, सॉफ्टवेयर कब धोखा दे जाए, कैलिब्रेशन चलते चलते बिगड़ जाए, ये मशीन है। मशीन पे कोई भरोसा नहीं कर सकता। अगर वो 100% भरोसा कर सकते हैं तो हम भी कर सकते हैं, लेकिन अगर आपका ही 100% आपको धोखा दे रहा हो, आपको स्वीकार करना पड़ रहा हो कि कैलिब्रेशन ऑफ सॉफ्टवेयर में गड़बड़ी है, हमें 100% भरोसा अपने बैलेट पर है। हम आने वाले समय में चाहते हैं कि चुनाव बैलेट से हो, ये मांग हमारी समाजवादी लोगों की रहेगी।
मैं समझता हूं कि चुनाव आयोग ने हमेशा ये कहा है कि उसकी पारदर्शिता के बारे में कोई प्रश्न चिन्ह कभी भी नहीं रहा है, तो इस तरह के सवाल उठाना वो खिसियानी बिल्ली खंबा नोचने वाली बात।
Several parts of the country reeled under heat wave conditions, with the temperature in the national capital touching 41 degrees on Saturday. While many people in Varanasi and UP avoided the outdoors, in Bhopal, they struggled to beat the heat by crowding around juice shops. Here's a report.
Severe heat wave conditions were seen in several parts of the country on Saturday, with the temperature hovering around 41 degrees Celsius. Uttar Pradesh's Varanasi remained deserted for most part of the day, as local residents and tourists alike prefer to stay indoors.
Well, I try not to dress so hot, and I try to be in the shade a lot, not always in the sun, and yeah.
What do you eat for here? Very hot time to order your fruit.
Well, I eat a lot of fresh food, watermelon, mango, papaya, yeah, stuff like that. Coconut as well, yeah, which is refreshing, which is important against the heat.
Madhya Pradesh also reeled under severe conditions, with the mercury touching 43 degrees in 7 districts. People in Bhopal crowded juice and lemonade shops to beat the hot weather, while commuters shielded themselves from the scorching heat.
अभी जो ये गर्मी पड़ रही है वो बहुत ही ज़्यादा हार्मफुल है सभी के लिए, क्योंकि आई थिंक 45 डिग्री सेल्सियस जो चल रहा है अभी, या उससे ओवर ही हो रहा है, तो वो हम सिर्फ ना कि इंसानों के लिए, ना इवन बर्ड्स के लिए, जानवरों के लिए, पक्षियों के लिए, सभी के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा हार्मफुल है।
The Met Department predicted similar conditions over the next few days as well.
अगले 24 घंटों में मौसम शुष्क रहेगा और तापमान भी लगभग 40 से 43 के बीच में ही रिकॉर्ड होने की संभावना है।
With expectations of return of the El Nino weather pattern, meteorologists have predicted a hot summer with lesser rains than previous years. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Night curfew continued in Bhadrak city of Odisha on Saturday, despite the town returning to normalcy after the violence on 6th and 7th of April. As many as 146 people were arrested in connection with the violence that was sparked by alleged abusive remarks against Hindu deities on social media. Meanwhile, the process to assess the damage caused in Bhadrak was carried out on a priority basis and a detailed report is being prepared. Violence broke out in the town on the 6th of April after a group staged a demonstration near the town police station. They were demanding the arrest of those involved in posting alleged offensive remarks against Hindu deities on social media. With that, a look at what else is making news across the nation in Nationwide. 8 college students from Karnataka's Belgaum district on Friday drowned in the sea off the Vairi coast in Sindhudurg district of Maharashtra. According to police, the victims were part of a group of 60 students from the Maratha Engineering College in Belagavi who were in the area on a picnic. 3 students were rescued and are under medical observation. Suspected Naxals killed a person and set more than 6 vehicles on fire in Bihar's Lakhisarai district earlier today. According to police, terrorizing people and collecting levy should be the main reasons behind the incident. At least 26 shops, 6 residential buildings and several vendor huts were gutted in a major fire in Jammu and Kashmir's Doda district today. There are no reports of anyone getting hurt in the incident so far. Preliminary reports suggest that a short circuit perhaps caused the fire. The police have started an investigation now into the incident. A quick break here. Up next, we're getting international news. Stay with us.
The sacred relics of Buddha were unearthed in Piprava in Uttar Pradesh. Buddhist monks from all over the world visit the National Museum to pay their respects. These charred bone fragments of Buddha are housed in the gold canopy gifted by the royal family of Thailand.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries.
Ghata, one of the oldest and most unique percussion instruments of southern India. You can play it not only with your fingers, but palms, wrists and heels as well. You'll be surprised, but the air inside the ghatam reverberates, creating the musical notes. 5 elements of nature, earth, water, air, fire and space, make up the composition of this beautiful musical piece, which has found an apt place in most of the ancient books.
Welcome back. Let's get international news now. And the number of militants killed in Afghanistan after an attack by the largest non-nuclear weapon ever used in combat by the US military has now risen to 94. The initial figure given by Afghan officials for Thursday's strike was 36. The number of dead could rise as the damage at the bomb site in Achin district is still being assessed. The strike that targeted a network of underground tunnels in Nangarhar province is estimated to have killed at least 4 IS group leaders. The ISIS was using the fortified tunnels to stage attacks on government forces. Thursday's attack was supported by the Afghan government that said that the blast destroyed 3 underground tunnels as well as weapons and ammunition, but no civilians were hurt.
There will be no sanctuary for Daesh in Afghanistan. With these operations being conducted by the Afghan army, with us working in partnership, we will remove the sanctuary in Afghanistan so that fighters may not flow from Syria to Afghanistan. This is the objective of the operation, and the Afghan army has been extremely effective in this. So if this is recognized by the neighbors and recognized by the region, then this is a very positive thing.
Meanwhile, the top U.S. military commander in Afghanistan has said that the decision to use that powerful bomb in the country was based purely on tactical considerations. General John Nicholson said that the most powerful non-nuclear bomb ever used by the U.S. in combat had been the right weapon to target a suspected Islamic State base in Nangarhar province. He added that a 300-meter long network of tunnels and caves was destroyed.
This weapon was the appropriate weapon to use against this target. And prior to this, we didn't have such a target. I am fortunate in that my chain of command allows me the latitude to make assessments on the ground, to operate within my authorities. Of course, we communicate constantly up and down the chain of command about what we're doing here on the ground. This was the right weapon against the right target.
North Korea has held a massive military parade on Saturday, showcasing new weapons to mark the 105th anniversary of the birth of its founding president, Kim Il-sung. The members of the Army, Navy and Air Force marched in formation, followed by tanks and armored vehicles through Kim Il-sung Square in central Pyongyang. 2 types of ballistic missiles also appeared in the parade for the first time. The show of strength comes after the country warned the U.S. not to take provocative action in the region, saying it was ready to hit back with nuclear attacks. Leader Kim Jong-un also watched the country's first parade in a year and a half, along with others, from a balcony overlooking the square. And here's a look at what else is making news across the globe in Global Buzz. At least 16 people were killed and 12 others injured in a garbage dump fire at Colombo. More than 100 houses were completely destroyed. Over 400 troops were deployed for rescue operations. A mountain of garbage caught fire and collapsed as residents were celebrating the traditional New Year on Friday. Several thousand people were evacuated from 4 besieged towns in Syria. The citizens from 2 pro-government towns in northwestern province of Idlib are being transported to government-held areas. The 4 towns were under siege since 2015. Last month, United Nations described the situation in the 4 towns as catastrophic, with more than 64,000 civilians trapped in a cycle of daily violence. Many people are reported to have died as a result of shortages of food or medicine. At least 14 Houthi militants were killed in the city of Midi of Yemen. This comes after Saudi-led Arab coalition launched an airstrike. According to the Yemeni government sources, the militiamen were killed on Thursday when coalition aircraft targeted Houthi concentrations in the area. The city of Midi was captured by the Houthi rebels in 2015. However, the movement has lost control of the port after the Saudi-led coalition launched the offensive. At least 97 African migrants are missing after their boat sank off the Libyan coast. A total of 23 migrants were rescued around 10 kilometers off the coast of Tripoli. The boat's hull was completely destroyed. According to reports, 15 women and 5 children are among those missing. The rescue and relief operations are underway, but the chances of finding more survivors are slim. Three days of mourning has been announced for the victims of a massive fire during a Muslim religious retreat in Senegal. The death toll from the fire rose to 25. The blaze broke out on Wednesday afternoon as worshippers gathered near the town of southeastern Senegal. According to police, a gas cylinder exploded as the pilgrims prepared tea at the retreat site. All right, sports news now, and it will be an all-India men's singles final at Singapore Open Super Series badminton tournament on Sunday, after Indian shuttlers B. Sai Praneeth and Kidambi Srikanth won their semi-final matches comfortably. Praneeth defeated 3-time Korea Masters gold champion South Korea's Lee Dong-kyun by 21-6, 21-8. In another semi-final, former world number 3 Srikanth beat Indonesia's Antonique Ginting by 21-13, 21-14. Yesterday, Rio Olympic silver medalist PV Sindhu made an exit in the quarterfinals after losing to 4th place Carolina Marin of Spain. The pair of Ashwini Ponnappa and Sumit Reddy also bowed out. An ace Indian QS Pankaj Advani won his 7th Asian title by defeating Saurav Kothari 6-3 in an entertaining final of the Asian Billiards Championship in Chandigarh. The first session saw Kothari run away with a 3-1 lead before the interval. However, the 16-time world champion came back in a stunning fashion to win the next 5 frames on the trot to clinch the title. Advani will now switch to snooker to compete in the Asian Snooker Championship in Doha, which begins on the 22nd of April. That's all we have for you on the news at 6. Have a good evening.